Hello students, myself Mrs. Meeta Pandey, science teacher in St. Paul's High School. Today we will be continuing with the topic of acids, bases and salts of standard 9th. As you all remember, in our last video we have covered certain topics such as first one, Arrhenius theory of acids and bases, the second, the topic of acidity and basicity, and the third, that the topic of different types of chemical reactions of acids and bases. Hope so you all understood about those topics quite well, so that we can move ahead with certain new topics and concepts in this video. Now in this video, the main topics that we'll be covering are, first one, the topic of molarity, second is the topic of water of crystallization, and third is the topic of electrolysis. All the three topics are very important. In the topic of electrolysis, we'll first understand the meaning of the term electrolysis, and then after that we'll cover two subtopics under this main topic of electrolysis. The first one, the electrical conductivity of certain ionic compounds such as copper sulfate, and the second one, the electrolysis of water. So these are the topics which we'll be covering in this video. Now, before we start with these topics, we need to discuss about two terms. The first one is the term alkali. We should be understanding what is actually meant by alkali. Always remember that alkalis are kind of bases. We know bases are ionic compounds, and being ionic compounds, they are soluble in water. That is, they get dissolved in water, and when we say getting dissolved in water, we actually mean that they get dissociated into the respective ions of cations and anions in water. Now we should be remembering that all the bases do not get dissolved in water. Only certain specific bases like sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, they get dissolved in water. So these bases are known as alkalis. So in one sentence we can say that those bases which get dissolved in water are alkalis. Now one more topic we need to discuss is the topic of strong and weak acids and bases. We know many a times we have heard of the term that such and such acid is a strong acid, whereas such and such acid is a weak acid. So we need to understand what is the main criteria on the basis of which we decide that which acid or which base will be a strong one, or which acid or which base will be a weak one. Now let's understand about it. We know that all the acids and bases are ionic compounds, and being ionic compounds, they are soluble in water, that is, they get dissolved in water, dissociated into their respective ions in water. Now, for example, we take 100 molecules of an acid and we put those 100 molecules of that acid in water. So what we find that out of those 100 molecules, almost all the molecules get dissociated into its respective ions. So such an acid will be known as a strong acid. Whereas on the other hand, out of those 100 molecules, if only 20 to 25 molecules get dissociated in water, then obviously such an acid will be known as a weak acid. Same way for the bases. Those bases or those alkalis which get completely dissociated in water are strong alkalis or bases, whereas those bases or alkalis which do not get completely dissociated in water are weak bases or alkalis. So hope so you all have understood about this topic of alkali also, as well as the topic of strong and weak acids and bases. Now let's move ahead with the new topics and concepts that we need to cover in this video. Let's see for those topics now. Here we shall understand about the concept of molarity. Molarity is a unit to express the concentration of a solution, usually an aqueous solution. The symbol for molarity is capital M enclosed in brackets, and the formula for molarity is equal to moles per liter, which can also be said as number of moles of the solute upon volume of the solution in liter. We'll take up an example, as according to the example, 117 gram of NaCl, that is sodium chloride solute, is dissolved in 2 liter of solution. Find the molarity of the solution. So, in order to find the molarity, we know that the formula for molarity is moles per liter, that is number of moles of the solute upon volume of the solution in liter. The volume of the solution in liter as given according to the numerical is 2 liter, that we know. So, first we will be finding out the number of moles of the solute, that is sodium chloride solute. With the formula for this is mass in grams of the solute, which is sodium chloride, upon molecular mass of the solute, again molecular mass of sodium chloride. So let's find out the molecular mass of sodium chloride. The chemical formula for sodium chloride is NaCl. According to the chemical formula, in 1 molecule of sodium chloride NaCl, 1 atom of sodium Na and 1 atom of chlorine Cl is present. So the molecular mass of NaCl will be equal to atomic mass of sodium plus atomic mass of chlorine, which will come as 23 plus 35.5, and the result will be 58.5 Dalton. The unit for molecular mass is Dalton. Hence, putting these values, we'll find out the number of moles of NaCl, which will come as 117 upon 58.5, which will be equal to 2 moles. Now, we'll find out the molarity of the given solution. As according to the formula, it is number of moles of the solute, NaCl, in this case, upon volume of the solution in liter. We know that the number of moles of the solute NaCl is 2, and the volume of the solution is again 2 liter. So 2 upon 2 will be coming as 1. So this way the answer will be molarity of the given solution is 1m. Capital M, the symbol for molarity. Now we need to understand about water of crystallization. In order to understand about this topic of water of crystallization, we'll be looking for these 3 points. Let's see for the first point. The first point says, crystalline substances contain water of crystallization. So first we need to understand what is meant by crystalline substances. In our lower standards, we have already studied about crystalline substances and non-crystalline substances. Non-crystalline substances are also known as amorphous substances. So we all know that all the substances are made up of particles. If the particles of the substance are arranged in a definite regular manner, then the substance is a crystalline substance. And if the particles are arranged in an irregular, random manner, then the substance is known as a non-crystalline or amorphous substance. So this way, we very well understand what are crystalline substances. All the ionic compounds will be examples of crystalline substances because in the ionic compounds, the ions, that is the positive cations and negative anions, are arranged in a regular manner. Now, in the case of some crystalline substances or some ionic compounds, the water molecules become a part of the regular arrangement of the particles. These water molecules are known as water of crystallization. Now let's look for the second point. The second point says, the molecules of water of crystallization are part of the internal arrangement of the crystal. So what do we understand by the second point? The arrangement of the particles of the crystalline substances they form a crystal-like structure. So when they are saying crystal, it means the crystalline substance. Now in the crystalline substance, in between the regularly arranged particles of that crystalline substance, some water molecules take their place as an internal arrangement without combining or without chemically reacting with the molecules or with the particles of the crystalline substance. This way, these water molecules, which are actually the water of crystallization, become a part of the internal arrangement of the crystal of that crystalline substance. Now let's see for the third point. The third point says, on heating or just by keeping the water of crystallization is lost and the crystalline shape of that part is lost. As according to the third point, if the crystalline substances which have water of crystallization attached to them, they are heated or are just kept aside for some time, then the water of crystallization is lost from them. And as a result of the loss of water of crystallization, the crystalline shape of that particular part is also lost. So, this is what we have understood about the water of crystallization. There are many examples of ionic compounds which have this water of crystallization present in them. We shall be looking for a few such examples of crystalline substances. So let's take a look for that. Here we have a few examples of ionic compounds with water of crystallization. Altogether there are 4 examples. Let's see for them. Let's look for the first one. The first one is crystalline blue vitriol. The formula for this is CuSO4.5H2O. It means the proportion for blue vitriol is for 1 molecule of copper sulfate, that is CuSO4, 5 molecules of water, that is H2O, will be present. The name of this is blue vitriol because of its color. It is blue in color. Now, the same way as we can see, the second example is crystalline ferrous sulfate, for which the general name is green vitriol because of its color or because of its green color. Now, the formula for this, as we can see, is FeSO4.7H2O. It means the proportion for this is for 1 molecule of ferrous sulfate, that is FeSO4, 7 molecules of water H2O will be present. The third example is crystalline washing soda. As we all know that the molecular formula of washing soda is Na2CO3. It means it is sodium carbonate. Now, crystalline washing soda will be having 10 molecules of water as water of crystallization. Hence, the complete formula for crystalline washing soda becomes Na2CO3.10H2O. Again, we shall see for the proportion for 1 molecule of sodium carbonate, that is Na2CO3, 10 molecules of water, that is H2O, will be present. The last example is crystalline alum. Crystalline alum is, in a way, 2 compounds, potassium sulfate and aluminium sulfate, as we can see it very clearly from the formula. The complete formula for crystalline alum is K2SO4.Al2SO4 whole thrice dot 24H2O. It means 24 molecules of water will be present in it as water of crystallization. Always remember These molecules of water of crystallization are present only as an internal part of the complete crystalline compound. They are not present as chemically bound to the compound. These water of crystallization are present as separate molecules of water in the internal arrangement of the particles of these crystalline compounds. So, this is the 4 examples, very important examples, which we have done as the examples of such ionic compounds which have water of crystallization.